My name is Jacob Henry, and I did my research on the frequency and rate of burnout among certified athletic trainers in the Northwest Athletic Trainers Association. Athletic training is a career that has many demands from the employees. These demands include long hours, required travel, an ever growing knowledge of evidence based practice, pathologies of injuries, and how to treat them, and working with many people, most of whom do not fully understand the duties of an athletic trainer. All of these demands can lead to burnout, which is defined as being driven by work-based perceptions of emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and reduced accomplishment. There have been previous studies that analyzed burnout among athletic trainers in general, but no study has analyzed the burnout among athletic trainers between settings. Therefore, the purpose of this study was to analyze the frequency and rate of burnout among certified athletic trainers in the high school, clinical, and collegiate settings within the Northwest Athletic Trainers Association. Emails were sent to potential participants within the NWATA via the NATA Research Survey Service. These emails consisted of a consent form, and completion and submission of the survey was considered implied consent, a demographic section, and an abbreviated Maslach burnout inventory. Scores for the abbreviated Maslach burnout inventory range from 0 to 18. Higher scores in emotional exhaustion indicate greater emotional exhaustion and greater burnout. Higher scores in depersonalization indicate greater depersonalization and greater burnout, and higher scores in personal accomplishment indicate greater personal accomplishment and less burnout. Data were compiled using Qualtrics for this study. A between subject factor MANOVA and a post hoc Tukey were calculated to analyze the burnout among settings, and there were a total of 7 settings analyzed in this study, those being clinical, collegiate, high school, other or unspecified, a dual setting of high school and clinical, a dual setting of collegiate and clinical, and a dual setting of high school and other or unspecified. 130 participants had their answers included in the data analysis, and the MANOVA identified significant findings in all 3 categories of the abbreviated Maslach burnout inventory. The post hoc Tukey identified significance in the following comparisons between settings. For emotional exhaustion, when comparing the collegiate to high school and collegiate to other or unspecified. For depersonalization, comparing collegiate to high school and collegiate to other or unspecified. And for personal accomplishment, when the following settings of clinical, high school, other or unspecified, and dual setting of high school and clinic were all compared to the dual setting of high school and other or unspecified, there were significant findings. Based on these results, there was a prevalence of burnout among athletic trainers in terms of depersonalization and emotional exhaustion, specifically in the collegiate settings within the NWATA. The collegiate setting reported feeling emotional exhaustion and depersonalization more often and to a more severe degree on average than all other settings. Collegiate settings are causing stress and feelings of lack of accomplishment in addition to the long hours required for work, and this leads to the relationship between emotional exhaustion and depersonalization. The limitations of this study were that it was limited to the NWATA, which is a small district, the number of athletic trainers in each setting. While there was 130 participants, 66 of them were in one setting, while 3 separate settings only had 2 participants, and the use of an abbreviated Maslach burnout inventory, which is a shortened version of the full questionnaire. Future research needs to expand to the entire NATA and use the full Maslach burnout inventory to measure the burnout. With that information, the athletic training profession could progress to the next stage of attempting to correct this and make athletic training a career that is more enjoyable in all settings. So in conclusion, burnout is defined as being driven by work-based perceptions of emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and reduced accomplishment. When people experience burnout, they could fall into a depression and lose interest in their work. Due to the intensive work that is required of athletic trainers, burnout is associated with the career. In this research, athletic trainers who work in a collegiate setting experience the most burnout in terms of emotional exhaustion and depersonalization. All settings other than the collegiate and a dual setting of high school and other or unspecified setting experience the most personal accomplishment. And while this study gave a glimpse of which setting is causing the most burnout for athletic trainers, there is still need for further research. Thank you.